Hello everyone, welcome back. First of all, this is a sword training video. It's not a gun training video, even though there's a gun involved, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm using this rifle, this AR-15 rifle, to answer a very old question in the HEMA community. Does it make sense to hit armor with a sword, okay? Now, when I do armored fighting, I specifically focus on mail armor, okay? And the reason is because mail armor was used for well over 1,000 years, okay? It was used from from Roman times all the way through the 15th century. So it makes sense for me to focus on a type of armor fighting that was used for a long period of time, as opposed to, let's say, plate armor, which is only used for maybe 100, 150 years. Okay, when I say plate armor, we're talking full plate armor. So with mail armor, basically, people wore mail, which is a series of steel links that were riveted together over a padded gambeson, and they wore a mail coif, which is basically a mail hood. And on top of that, they would have worn a nasal helm, and the nasal helm only weighed somewhere between 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds. Okay, and my argument has always been that you can break bone through mail. Okay, even though you can't cut mail, but if you hit the mail and particularly if you hit the collarbone, or you hit the forearm, or you hit the shins, or especially the head. Okay. Now, granted, if you make a hard blow to the side of a Norman nasal helm, you're not going to split the head open. However, if you make a number of blows, on a 2-pound helm, I believe that you can make somebody see enough stars that it will incapacitate them. Okay. So for proof of this, what I do is I look to modern day combat. Let me put the sword down for a second. And I look at modern day combat, and I look at how people fight today against armor. Okay, so there's different classes of body armor. Okay, so let's say there's a class of body armor that like let's say a Type 4 that is resistant to an AR-15, to the 5.56 caliber. Do we shoot that? Now, in a perfect situation, yeah, of course we're aiming for the face. We're trying to take that face shot. However, if we are under a stressful situation, oftentimes we will shoot the body armor. Okay, and there's one specific, there's a particular drill that we practice for this. This is called the zipper drill. And in the zipper drill, what we do is we start low, we start the hip area, and we basically work our way up until we get to the head. Okay, so we zipper the person up, and I'll demonstrate it on this target here. Basically, the bottom paper represents the hips. The middle paper represents the chest, top paper represents the head, and the way the zipper drill would work is like this. Come up. Right. So that's the zipper drill, okay? Come up, work our way up to the head. Okay, let me take this rifle off, and we'll talk a little bit and why that makes sense. Okay. Why does it make sense to shoot the chest even though we know that we won't get penetrating shots? Well, what we're hoping to do is stun the person, distract them, anything to keep them from shooting at us. Okay, nobody's going to ignore shots to to their body, regardless of whether they have body armor or not. I mean, unless they're wearing an Iron Man suit, where they're basically they're protected like a tank. Okay, they're not going to ignore shots to their body. Okay. Putting shots on somebody's, even on their body armor, is going to cause them to change what they're doing. First of all, even if you're getting hits, as you're zippering up, their arms are here. There's a good chance that you might hit their hands. You might hit the gun itself, and basically, if you hit the gun, it's not going to work anymore, so they can't shoot back at you. And there's a good chance that even if they take a couple of hits on the body armor, they may decide that they should take cover, and as they turn to take cover, it's going to expose their armpit. So even today, just like in medieval times, armpits are favored places to put shots because the armpit usually has less armor. Okay, but the point is that we do hit the body armor. we do drill the body armor. We do drill shooting the body armor, and there's a specific drill which I just mentioned, the zipper drill, where we're walking the shots up to the head. Okay, it's been found to be very effective. Okay, again, you're not going to penetrate a Class 4 vest with the 5.56 caliber of the AR-15. But they're going to feel it. I mean, even with a 9mm, okay? With the 9mm on a Class 4, we know absolutely that it's not going to penetrate, and they're going to feel it even less. However, it is going to cause them it's going to change the behavior of the person being shot, even with the 9mm on a Class 4 vest, okay? Because, hey, I mean, if you just got 2 or 3 shots on their body armor, the next shot might go somewhere where they don't have armor, so it's going to change their behavior. Okay, so basically, I think we can take this example and bring it back to medieval times, and say that yes, even if I were wearing mail, okay, I'm going to basically I'm going to fight as if though I'm not wearing any mail, and likewise, if I get hit enough times someplace where all I have is mail protection, it's going to start to hurt. I'm going to start feeling it, and it might change my behavior. For example, if I get hit enough times, let's say on the helmet over here, I might say, okay, this guy is really going for that shot. It may cause me to, bring my defense further up here, and then perhaps, by bringing my defense up here, I'm exposing another area of my body which is even more vulnerable. Okay, so again, it's a way of changing somebody's behavior. That's what's going to happen. When you hit somebody in the armor. So those are my thoughts. To me, it makes sense. We do shoot people in the body armor today in combat. Because it's going to, it's going to change their behavior. And you might say, well, why not just target the face? Why not just target the face? Face never has any armor. Well, you got to keep in mind that, yes, it makes sense to target the face if you're hiding in the bushes and they're completely unaware of you. It makes sense to take that well-timed shot, where you're relaxed and you bring your heartbeat down and you're rested. But in a situation where you are being charged at, okay, and you haven't had a chance to find you're not laying down in a stable position, you're not going to be able to take that perfect face shot. And shooting under combat conditions, it's not really like the stuff you see on television. The bullet doesn't go where you put the crosshairs. There's a lot of factors that affect it. I mean, for one thing, when you look at an AR-15. And this is typical of most rifles. I mean, basically, the line of sight is about 3 inches above the barrel, okay? And basically, they converge. I'm just going to have it so that they converge and they meet at about 50 yards. And then basically there's another zero at 200 yards. And I've done other videos on that, so I'm not going to get too much into the details. But the point is that the bullet makes an arch, okay? So just because you put the red dot, or the crosshairs or whatever sighting system you have, or the iron sights on that spot, doesn't mean that the bullet is going to go exactly there. So under combat conditions where the enemy's moving and you're moving as well, it's really hard to get that face shot. It's a lot easier to get the chest shots and walk them up. And then maybe after you've stunned them, or maybe you've injured them by maybe hitting them in the shoulder somewhere, then you can try and focus on the face and maybe put maybe a 4 or 5 shots rapidly on the face. And the other thing worth mentioning is that we use 5.56 caliber in AR-15s. We use 9mm in our pistols. These are not the most powerful rounds available. Okay, they're actually, the AR-15s, AK-47s, 9mm pistols, they're actually at the very lower end. They're at the low end as far as ammunition power goes. So why not use a rifle that shoots 308? Why not use a handgun that shoots, let's say, a 40 caliber or 45 or 10mm for that matter? Basically, the military has through experimentation has found that it makes sense to use a less powerful caliber and put more rounds on target, for various reasons. And I think those reasons are among the reasons that I just described. That a lot of times those rounds are a distraction so that you can get that well-aimed shot where you want it. Okay, so a couple of things for you guys to think about when I study swordsmanship. You know, I practice it in isolation. But you know, like I study my gun training in isolation. I'll study, let's say, my boxing in isolation. I'll study my my gun training in isolation. But then when it all comes back to me, you know, at the end, like when I go home, you know, to me it's all one martial art. Fighting is fighting. You know, it doesn't matter what tool I happen to be using. So that's why it makes sense to me to look at, when I study medieval combat styles, I also filter it through the context of, well, what makes sense today? How do we fight today? And extrapolate from modern day fighting back to how fighting would have been 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. Okay, so when I look at modern day combat, within modern day armored combat where people are wearing bulletproof vests, how do we fight today? Do we shoot the body armor or don't we shoot the body armor? And yes, the answer is we do shoot the body armor. And we shoot it so it creates an opportunity to get that shot that we want. Very common is we'll do the Mozambique drill, 2 to the chest, 1 to the head. Again, we're using 2 shots to the chest to give us the opportunity to take that face shot. Okay, so a couple of things for you guys to think about. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Talk to you guys next time.